welcome to another episode of Emotional Support Water Bottle with Hannah and Ailish.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ailish. I think I told you about this before, but that crazy dream that I had about one of my coworkers and then a previous coworker that I had when I lived in San Francisco. I won't get into the whole dream because there's really no point in doing that. But when I worked in San Francisco, that was like a few years ago, and I had a couple friends out there. But the dream was like really sweet with like myself and the two coworkers there. We were like hugging and reunited, and it was really nice from that point. So thinking back to one of our previous podcasts about like female friendships, I decided to text.
Oh, how nice.
I know. And I was just like, hey, like this is so random, but I had this dream about you and it was really sweet. Like, I hope, you're doing well. And then she responded and we just like...
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, you're going to be like... And she said nothing.
And she blocked my number. And honestly, like I didn't even know if it was still her number. Because it's been a while. But yeah, she responded and we just like sent a couple texts back and forth. But honestly, like I wasn't expecting a full-blown conversation. Like, right. What were we? But it was nice. I was like, you know what? I'm going to reach out. And like, that's kind of nice. Like if someone thought about me randomly, I would appreciate if they text me like that. So
yeah. Oh,
it was just
sweet.
Like, yeah. I just sent it out a little. Yeah.
It probably felt good.
It did. Yeah, it was. It was nice. And it was nice just to hear what she's doing. And she actually works at Apple now.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, damn, that must be kind of crazy. But she said, as you would expect, like the people that work there are very type A.
Yeah.
And you have to be like at the top of your game, like all the time. Because, I mean, it's such an innovative company.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was just like patting myself on the back.
No, doesn't that always feel... I actually reached out to some... They like sent me a birthday card. Somebody I used to be friends with, and I kind of did the same thing. I'm like, we should get together. Aww. And they were happy. And I was like... I love that.
It's nice.
It does feel good.
We're
Maybe
trying.
People do like us.
I know.
I've been, trying to look at TikToks and stuff, but I keep coming across this thing where it'll like be depicting millennials, and we're always in hoodies.
Why?
I don't know. I was going to see if you understood that. I mean, yeah, we like wore a lot of hoodies back in the day, but do we do that now?
Yeah.
Like maybe once, like I used to, but I honestly don't like the hood.
Me either. And also, are we saying that like the Gen Zers aren't wearing hoodies?
I know, because I feel like they wear them more.
Yeah. With their hoods up.
Literally. Yeah, it's always like we look like we're in sweatpants and hoodies. I'm like, we wear other stuff. And it's like, I could see like the legging thing because we've grown up with them, but the hoodie, I just don't understand.
I think like when we're speaking on like the generations, I think millennials are it's so vast.
Yes.
Because we're kind of at the tail end of that era.
Yes.
But then there's like a huge amount of other ages in front of us that are older millennials.
Yes.
So I personally feel like, where do we fit?
I know, I do think that too. I'm like, I'm a millennial, but there's still some stuff that I don't remember the way the geriatric millennials remember it,
But like, we also don't fit in
to Gen Z.
Yeah, like at all.
I know. Or what are zillennials?
I don't know.
I feel like those are a little bit younger than us.
Yeah.
So where are we? Where are the people that were born in 1993?
we don't have a place.
We never
But like the hoodie thing, that's just weird. I
know.
never.
I'm like, what? It's like consistently I keep seeing us in hoodies.
They also, I've noticed that they just love to like bash us.
They do.
And
we
I'm
get
just
it from
like,
all ends.
Yeah, what is wrong with us? Like, I mean, I'm sure every generation thinks that they're the quote unquote normal ones.
Right.
But like, I know we do some quirky things or whatever, or like outdated stuff from our time, but like, we're not horrible, embarrassing people.
No, and they act like we are. I remember there's this one TikTok I saw like forever ago, and it was like millennials in skinny jeans and like little booties kind of, and then it had like some younger Gen Z with like more the boot cut and like a different kind of shoe, and it was like they were making fun of millennials so bad, and it was like, I don't know, they were acting like they were so old and outdated, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I will say I hate like a literal ankle boot.
I know. I don't think it's flattering.
It's not. Like, the ones that are like, 3 inches above the ankle, those are fine. But a literal ankle boot. Like,
I know.
And when you said wearing them with skinny jeans, like, that really is something that millennials do.
And I can picture it in my head. Like, they were right, but it's like they didn't look bad.
With like a blouse.
Yes. Yes.
Like for a casual event.
Yes. We were always so business casual, even in denim.
I know.
Oh,
so funny. But I don't know why everyone hates us, the younger generation on social media. It's like, stop. We're like the ugly stepchild.
The redheaded stepchild.
Like the older ones hate us. The younger ones hate us.
We're the middle kids.
No one's on our side.
No.
I was thinking, I heard on, again, I think it was Heather McDonald's podcast, but it might not have been. I can't remember. About like Tom Cruise and Surrey. And I know this is kind of random to bring up because it's not like a hot, like there's no drama with them right now or anything.
Right.
But I was just thinking about like that whole thing. And Heather McDonald and whoever they had on were being a little like, I thought it was like a little bit offensive.
Oh, yeah?
About Tom Cruise. Like, just saying, he didn't have anything to do with Siri anymore and bashing kind of like Scientology. And then they were saying like, well, I don't even think that that's his kid. And they're like, let's look at the timeline. I'm like, no, that definitely is his child.
I know. It's crazy because I always feel like she looks exactly like him, but also exactly like her.
Right. I agree. So, but anyway, I was just like, I do find it sad with like the Scientology thing that was kind of what maybe dissolved their marriage or made it so that he doesn't have a relationship with his daughter at all anymore.
Right.
But it's just kind of like crazy because like we'll see pictures of like Siri and Katie Holmes out and about, and then like Tom is still like this major celebrity.
Yeah.
But like really there's no like relationship.
I know. I wondered about that too. And then I guess we don't really know what the divorce says.
I just feel kind of bad. Like, we don't know all the ins and outs. I know that Tom is like
zany.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just felt like I don't know. There's just so many layers to it.
I know.
But I just think it's sad when like I don't necessarily think that Tom Cruise seems like a horrible person.
Right.
So it just, and again, that's from an outside perspective.
I know.
Maybe he is horrible. I don't know. But just to like, that must be very weird for now that Siri's like older.
Yes.
Or I keep like Surrey, not Siri, like Apple. But how she can see her dad like in all these things but not have a relationship with him.
Right. Or I guess we don't even know if they're like talking on the phone all the time.
Maybe they do.
Right. And maybe she wants her daughter to live more of like a normal life. I have a funny story. I was listening to Rob Lowe, since you brought up Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And he worked with them in The Outsiders or whatever.
Yeah.
And they kind of like kept a relationship here and there. And anyway, he said he was trying to get like back together with them the one time. And it was when I think he said, yeah, it must have been Risky Business. When he was filming it. And he called him up and it just kind of wasn't working out. And Tom goes, you know, I want to hang out with you, but Joel doesn't. Who I guess is his character. And I thought it was so funny.
Method actor.
He's like, you know, like I'm like, can I use that excuse? It's like, well, Hannah wants to, but you know, my other personality does not want to hang out with you. I just thought that was so
That is hilarious. And it just seems like such a Tom Cruise thing to do.
I was laughing.
Rob Lowe is so funny too. Like he just is like a goofy guy.
Right.
Like that's just
like he just seems like super over the top. And we do want to like get into like Leah Remini's book for our book club, and maybe we'll change our mind about him or something. But I don't know if he's really featured in it that much, and like Scientology and stuff.
I know, and that's why, because when I kind of thought about this topic and I thought about her book, and I'm like, I know that she had so many negative things to say about Scientology, but like I also recognize that that is one person's experience and perspective, and even if you know she did have that really negative experience, it wasn't with every single person that identifies as a Scientologist or who practices Scientology. So it's like, I don't know. But it's weird because that whole religion is like such a like enigma. Like it's such a secretive thing. Like
I know, we're the rich.
Yeah, like we don't know a lot about it.
No,
really. And I don't know, but
there's definitely, I feel like too, you can be hurt in like any kind of big religious organization. So I feel like there'd be a lot of people who aren't Scientologists who would maybe have a similar experience as her. So I don't know. It just, we'll have to talk more about that.
Yeah. And it's just, when you think about like Katie Holmes, and I know that she was younger when she and Tom were together and got married, but it's like, I mean, I highly doubt that she didn't know a lot about the church. Like, I'm sure that he had talked to her about it or was kind of indoctrinating her into it.
Right.
So, like, I would be shocked if this was all a surprise to her. And then when she had her kid, she's like, oh, no, I can't let her be involved in this. Like,
yes.
I just feel like, I don't know. There's more to that whole story that we're never going to know.
I know, and I'd love to.
Me too. We need to get Tom on the podcast.
I think he definitely would. But speaking of religion,
Hannah and I are Catholic school kids.
We are. From like, I know I went there from preschool through 12th grade, and you were kindergarten.
Through 12, yeah.
We actually went to school with each other that whole entire time.
We did all those years, which we always say that we became friends in first grade, but like, I feel like we could just say kindergarten. I don't know why.
Okay, but I do remember when I became a friend. Well, there was another girl.
Yeah.
We'll call her Rochelle. And then there's this other girl, we'll call her Chelsea. And me and Chelsea went to the same babysitter. And you guys were friends with Chelsea.
Yeah.
You and Rochelle.
Yeah.
And then Chelsea didn't go to that school anymore in the first grade. And so you and Rochelle came up to me and were like,
we need a third.
Chelsea's gone and you were friends with her, want to be our friend? And I'm like, Sure.
Which really was such a kind thing for us
really
to do.
So, and then the rest is history.
I know. And like, let's not like make any different assumptions here. This was a Catholic school. So there was one kindergarten.
Yeah.
We were all in the same class. It's not like
Eternity.
we were even in different classrooms. Like we definitely interacted with each other.
Yes.
But we started like sleepovers and stuff probably, I don't even know. Did we do that when we were that age? Maybe not.
No, I feel like it was probably just birthday. I don't know. Maybe like, I feel like 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade.
When we started sleepovers.
Yeah.
But like maybe play dates at the house.
Yeah.
I don't even remember really.
But anyway, yeah. And like our graduating 8th grade class was it 13, I think?
Yeah, maybe even that might be like, I mean, we could list off the kids.
14 maybe.
Them, I'm sure, but
we really sat here and thought about it.
But well, because what happened was at 6th grade, it was like between 5th and 6th grade, it was when people could go to the public middle school and then go to the public high school. So we lost a ton of kids.
Yeah, like every class would lose a ton of kids. I remember there was even like the class above my stepsister was like 6 kids.
Yeah, they had a really small one. But I will say, when we moved to the high school, because then we went to the Catholic high school, like it was a very, I don't know, it's kind of a weird adjustment because there were 3 Catholic elementary schools in our town at the time.
Yep, and ours was the smallest.
Yeah, and we all filtered into the one high school and then I think there were only like 7 of us that went to the high school from our 8th grade graduating class. So we felt so like weird.
Overwhelmed.
And the 2 other schools, I feel like they weirdly had more interaction with each other.
Yeah, I feel like they would do sports together or something.
And we were left out.
Yeah, and
like,
we weren't exactly sporty gals, but
no, but it was more just like track and football. So we weren't into either of those.
No.
So, but my only like semi-saving grace was when I was in 8th grade. I was like a year ahead in math. So me and like 3 other kids, this is like showing the sign of the times. We would walk by ourselves
from
the elementary over to the high school, which probably was like, I don't know if it was like laid out in a line. I would say it was probably like 4 blocks.
Yeah.
About.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we would like start
They just trust you guys.
Yeah, they just would trust us. We'd start our day at our elementary school, and then when it was a certain time, we would walk over to the high school, and then when the class was over, we would walk back. Thinking back, I cannot even believe that we were allowed to do that.
You guys have been kidnapped.
I know, but when the whole point of me saying that was I got to know a few people from the other elementary school that like the 2 of us filtered into the high school.
Right.
So like that was kind of helpful for us because honestly, like we didn't know anyone else.
Right.
Like at all.
No, it was just crazy. And again, like our graduating class was like 70, and that included
in high school.
Like 6 foreign exchange students.
That's a little dramatic.
There was a lot that year.
6.
There was a lot.
I thought we had like 75 kids.
I thought it was 70.
Get out the yearbook. Let's count.
Got it all down. We should have gone through our yearbook.
I have all of mine at home. That would be funny. Once we finally start videoing, maybe we can do that. But thinking about like us all coming together, one thing that we had talked about recently was the school dances.
Oh gosh.
And that was like the only other time when all the elementary schools
Yeah,
were
now
together.
that you're saying that, yeah, I guess.
It was dark in there, and we didn't know who was at what school.
No.
It was just, so even though we were around other kids, we didn't like form relationships.
No,
it was
not
just
at all.
Hey, and you remember even like when it was all like honestly inappropriate music when you think back on it.
I know, especially for like Catholic school.
I know.
Like, would our parents have been happy?
It was literally like a free for all.
Literally.
But when I think back, there was like a legitimate DJ who I'm sure was just like either a high schooler or a recent
but they
grad.
seemed old.
But they had a full setup, and they would even bring in lights, like strobe lights, and maybe even like a fog machine. Like, it was legitimate.
Yes, I know. They were like fun too, and I never thought from the perspective that these were all the kids we were going to high school with.
No, I never thought that.
Never crossed my mind at all.
And maybe this was just because both Hannah and I, now that we are adults, we've come to the just realization and acceptance that like we cannot see very well in the dark. So maybe this started when we were younger, but I just remember it being so dark in there, and like I literally could not even see people.
I know, it would be like the light would be like coming from the door or something.
And that was it.
Yeah, it would be literally pitch black, and they would let you like slow dance and stuff. Like, nobody really said anything.
It was literally like because this would have been early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like 2005.
Probably.
And I looked through like songs that were popular then and what songs would play. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I cannot even believe this. And one of my coworkers, his son is in the 8th grade, and they just recently had a dance. And like the stark difference between the dances that they're having now for 7th and 8th grade versus ours at a Catholic school. Like, theirs was so like rated G. Like, I could not even.
Catholic, I mean, I do think like Catholic school kids get that reputation.
And there's a reason why. Because we were let loose. But no one cared.
No.
Do you remember, like, I even think that we just had like high schoolers as chaperones.
Yeah. like literally. Or like even in high school, like homecomings and stuff, it was like the sheriff's department was our chaperones, basically.
Or like I remember going to prom, like the teachers walking around, like I don't think that they like broke anything up. No. There was no save room for Jesus.
I know. Like, I think only one time. Never mind.
Well, it didn't happen to me ever.
And it just was like, it was just a free for all. And then it was like people were, I mean, I know everywhere does that, but it's like people were drinking clearly beforehand, and nope, nobody.
We did not do that, to be clear. Hannah and I did not. Even though now we're like, I'm almost 30 and I was 30. It doesn't really matter if we did, but for the record.
We definitely did it. Oh my gosh.
The dances I think were, I mean, I just can't, because when he was describing his sons in 7th and 8th grade dance, I was just like, what is this child's play? We
were getting jiggy with it, man.
We were, and remember, like, you would go, a slow song would come on, All My Life by Casey and JoJo.
Always. That would be the last dance or the last song.
And you'd have to find someone to dance with, but we knew no one.
No.
So you would literally, and I can't see a damn thing. So it would be literally just going up to some random person that you thought was a boy because you can't see and asking if he wanted to dance. And then they'd I mean, we never got turned down. At least I don't remember ever being
No, I
turned down.
definitely, I feel like in middle school, I way more got asked to dance than in high school.
Yeah, in high school, like you never,
You know?
but it wasn't so much as like boys on one side, girls on the other side. It just was like no one really wanted to.
You know, they were nervous or whatever. But middle schoolers are next level, man.
I know.
They're crazy.
Those hormones are raging.
And then it would be 7th and 8th grade. So it'd be like extra. I liked that they like tried to make us feel like because we were all in the same school, there wasn't like a separate middle school. I liked that they gave us certain things that were just for middle schoolers because it made you feel like a little older. But
I honestly didn't dislike it though. Like I know we're focusing.
It didn't bother me.
Yeah, we're focusing more on like elementary right now, but even like some things that we were able to do, like reading with a kindergartner or you know, like those were nice, and it was so easy because we were all in the same building. It was easier to execute those types of things rather than okay, well, the middle school is like across town. Like it's not easy to have, and I don't know, I felt like we were a family.
I know. No, I know. I definitely liked
community.
It. And they did like eating fish. But they did like, they had like the younger kids on the first floor and then the older kids on the second floor. So we still had kind of like a bit of a separation. And we got to switch classes, which was pointless, but it got us ready for high school.
We went in a small circle from one class to the next. 7th and 8th graders got lockers.
Yes, which was iconic for us.
Iconic.
We had Pete, we were just talking about this the other day, we had Pete Wentz up in our locker. And we, like, I swear in middle school, we were just like...
I just kind of feel like, I don't want to say we were bad because it's like...
We were like that time bad, but still not like...
I think we were like Catholic school bad.
Yes.
Like we were little scene kids.
Yeah, we tried to be.
We tried.
Well, I mean, even like, do you remember wearing like chokers?
Yeah.
And I know that was more like popular.
The time, but
it was like the chokers and the shirts untucked, which we have to talk about the uniforms too.
And like, if you had a dress down day, it was like, you know, a little like punky t-shirt. Or like when we had to wear our uniforms, it was like, okay, well then I'm going to accessorize with like all my chunky bracelets and some guitar pick earrings.
It was like, or those little spike balls. They were like
those
rubber.
Squishy ones. And then I remember I had this one little makeup palette because like I really wasn't allowed to wear a lot of makeup at that time, but like my aunt got it. You know how they used to do that with like Clinique and you get free stuff. Well, I got one of those and it had like pink and blue, which is so bizarre. But I would rock that like statement eyeshadow.
No, my mom honestly didn't really care if I wore makeup and I would. You know, it's like the darker the better. And just like
tons of eyeliner.
Yes, poorly done and like no foundation.
No,
just like
maybe a small amount of powder concealer.
Literally. And you know, and nobody said anything. I mean, we were allowed to wear makeup. We definitely didn't have strict like Catholic school like a lot of places are. We could, even in high school, we could like accessorize.
Which was nice.
Yeah, like our uniform in elementary school was khaki or blue pants.
Maybe,
And then you could wear a gray, green, white. Was that
polo?
Polos.
Yeah.
And you could wear tennis shoes.
Or they had some of the polos. This was like way back in the day where they were embroidered with our school name. And then there were also those sweatshirts.
Yes. I didn't have any of those, but I do remember where you could get them.
I would say like circa 3rd grade, the cool thing was polo with a sweatshirt on top with the collar
which
out.
has come back in style. Oh my gosh.
I don't think our uniforms were bad though. Like our elementary ones were very relaxed.
I know, and you could pretty much wear anything. And they had like the skirts.
Yeah. I love, which skirts are also coming back.
I know, like that skirt in the
which
front,
I kind of love it.
I know, because it looks like nice from the front, but then it's practical for especially little children to run around
the
like
little
crazy
pleated
kids.
ones.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the jumpers. Remember they had little jumpers for the girls too. Boys really didn't have options. Oh, and then when it got to a certain degree, they were allowed to wear shorts.
Yes, I remember.
So really only at the beginning of the school year or the very end.
I remember too, like almost everybody wore khaki pants, but if you wore blue pants, you were kind of like,
I don't even think I had any blue pants.
No, me either.
They were just all khaki.
I remember this one specific kid in our class. I won't say his name, but he always had the blue one. And I just always thought it was like, I just didn't understand. Like everyone else
Where
was
did you even get the navy pants from?
Why are you wearing them?
I know, the uniforms. And then I think at that point, we could do pretty much any shoe, right?
Yeah,
it couldn't be like an open toe or anything.
No. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I feel like I wore tennis shoes a ton of times.
Yeah.
And then you could have then we had dollar jeans days.
Oh my God. Those were big. But you know what? When I think like versus school now, like we had hardly any jeans days. Like it was really a treat to have a jeans day.
You'd bring that dollar and they'd collect them, and you'd have it in your jean pocket, and
ready to go.
Your folded up dollar bill.
I know, and it was like if you didn't wear jeans that day,
I know you were.
If you couldn't scrape a dollar together,
you were a loser.
Oh my God! And that was like so exciting. Like, what am I gonna wear?
I know.
Which I didn't mind wearing a uniform.
No, I honestly didn't either. It made things super easy, and then you had to try a little harder to be different.
I know. You actually had to like show your personality. Our high school uniforms though were horrific.
They were tragic on all levels.
And I guess
it could have been
cute. It really could have been cute. And I just think we love Gossip Girl.
Yeah. So
we have this idea of what a uniform should be.
Yes.
We're like Blair and Serena. No, our uniforms.
So it was a white button up.
I can't even talk about it.
I think it could be long sleeve or short sleeve, but you always did short sleeve. And then gray slacks. It's just
like what? Or if it was long sleeve blouse, like you rolled up your sleeves, it was never
like you could not have that sleeve down. It was too put together, and you could not look too put together. And then we had gray slacks.
Oh,
I feel like they didn't even call them pants. And then. Then the blazer, this navy blue blazer that was only fitted for boys.
And saying it was fitted for boys, honestly, is being generous.
I know, it's not even flattering on them. And I remember you would fill because they'd have two pockets on the sides, and you would fill that up so much with like pencils, erasers, whatever,
snacks,
that your shoulders would be all hunched over from the weight of everything that was in those pockets.
I literally had so much stuff in my pockets.
I know, like I could not stop. And then you could wear sports buttons or buttons,
cute pins.
And then they took their you can only have 5 on there because there was one time where people just had their own blazers.
I think our best years of high school were the grade that was 2 years above us. They were so
I feel like
fun.
Freshman year even was so fun.
I know. Freshman and sophomore year were the most fun.
Good.
I mean, I think that out of my personal experience, junior year, I loved my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm speaking of a whole school experience, it was definitely freshman, sophomore, because that when we were freshmen, the junior class was just
I know,
hilarious.
so
and there
funny.
were that group of boys that they would have literally like everyone's pin. Like it was so.
I know, that was overall amazing. And like we could go eat outside. Like that just overall was such a good experience. But yeah, and then
No, remember with our uniforms too, when it was warm out, it was like, this is literally what would happen. Like we come to school and all of our blazers were kept in our lockers. So we come.
Never getting washed.
No, never. I literally don't think I ever
have
washed.
to like get a dry clean. Who wants to go get the thing dry clean?
And it was pure polyester. But anyway, so you'd go to your first class and it was like, say this is the second week of school.
It's 98
it's a
degrees.
solid 98. Yeah, humid, no AC in our old building. And we're all dying. And you were allowed to take your blazer off in the classroom, but in the hallways you had to have blazers on. Oh, and boys had to wear ties. And we all had to be in dress shoes. And boys had to have belts. And our shirts had to be tucked in. And
we'll get back to that.
So back to the blazers. It's a piping 98 and humid. And our principal comes over the announcements in the morning. And, we had to say prayer, the pledge, yada, yada. And then he would go, no blazers and ties. And then it was like,
blazers go flying through the air. Ties everywhere.
Like that was.
You'd just be dying, like waiting for like sweat dripping down your face. They're like, there's no way they're not going to say it. There's no way they're not going to say it.
And then it was just the like best moment ever because then we could put our blazers in our lockers. Yeah. But the downside was your shirt had to be tucked in.
Because we would get rid of, like, we would literally only tuck in the front. As if it would kill us to just tuck the whole thing in.
And then we would have the blazer on, so you would only see the front.
I know, like, I remember walking, and then, of course, that little front would untuck.
Because we would have a blouse that's shorter.
And then I remember, like, walking through the hallway and, like, tucking your shirt. It's like, barely tucks it, or like flips it upside down.
The panic of like you see the teacher, the principal, and you're like, oh god,
is my shirt tucked in? As if it, but you could like get kind of like in trouble. Like you'd get a dress code violation, and they'd get all threatening. Like if you had the wrong shoe on.
Oh yeah, they would make or like boys, their hair couldn't be longer than their ears, and or facial hair. They couldn't have beards, and there were boys that like got called into the office and they made them shave or cut their hair in the office,
which is just ridiculous, really. But we couldn't have like red streaks in our hair or whatever.
Like
it had to be
hair.
Like natural.
Yeah.
But they really didn't care about like makeup or nail polish
or earrings or I don't think you were allowed to have like nose piercings or anything like that.
No facial
but like earrings
piercing.
were fine. Yeah.
No visible tattoos.
Yeah.
Pretty standard, but
the shoes that were in at the time, like were the Uggs, remember?
Yes.
And those slides, those like hideous. I don't even remember
moccasin,
what brand. Oh, I hated those, but I had them.
I know. It's like you had to
have them. And then it went to Sperry boat shoes.
Yes. And it's like if you could get away with getting out of the uniform just a little bit, it's like you were trying. Like if you could just push the edge of the shoe.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Like
I know.
just wear the dress shoe. Like everybody has to wear it.
I know.
Like it's not that big of a deal.
I know. That's what I never like even with dress code stuff now, I'm just like, do I think everything is fair? No, not always. But like what the dress code is, just follow.
I know.
Like that's what it but I think it was just because we grew up with the dress code all through school, so we're just more used to that.
Like it's fine. It's like a way of life. I do remember the one year we acquired skirts.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, Oh,
But those were weird because they were cute.
They were.
But, like, you literally could not find them.
No, and nobody would wear them.
No.
And it was like, why? It's hot out.
Right.
These skirts
They're
are way
cute.
cuter.
And then remember those sweaters?
Yes,
the
that
red sweaters?
We were on that mission
Yeah.
hunt to get them.
And then I remember I got mine, and then I don't even know how this happened, but like it totally stretched out, like all the elastics stretched out. It must have just been like cheaply made. So then it used to be like a cuter sweater,
Right.
and then after like 3 washes, it was just
awful.
so
Never
sloppy.
wore it again. Well, it was because our one friend had like the vintage like burgundy one.
That was actually
Or
warm
maroon.
and nice. Yeah.
So we couldn't. So we like got that. Like I remember we worked so hard to get these
them.
sweaters. We get these ugly red ones,
I
and
know.
then they didn't even look cute.
Fit
And we
right.
like never wore
Well,
them
because
again.
and the thing was, we talked about how it was so hot in the summertime. Well, it was also absolutely frigid in the winter because, we did have heat in the school, but it was just like at that time our windows weren't the best, and now they have new windows, so it's better. I guess I haven't been there in the winters, but it was freezing all the time.
Oh yeah,
And
your hands were icicles.
Yes, and you weren't. The blazer didn't keep you warm at all.
No, it made you super hot.
Yeah,
but it
didn't keep you warm. But we weren't allowed to wear any sweaters like underneath or over it or anything until they came out with those red ones. But so you would wear like a long sleeve under your blouse or white shirt. So I remember having like a white shirt, a gray shirt, a black one that I would wear underneath. But if the black one was like horrible because if I got caught with it, it was out of dress code. But I would wear that under my blouses all the time because I was so freaking cold.
I know, it was terribly cold in those classrooms. I was like, we're not going to let you. And it's like, why couldn't we have worn like white sweaters or something, like anything?
Right. But now the dress code is so lax.
Oh, that makes me mad.
I don't even know why I was there. This was like a few years ago. And there were kids walking around in like a hoodie, their sports shirts and stuff. And I'm like, what? Tennis shoes? I was like, what
Are you kidding
the
me?
heck is going
We could have
on?
at least been able to wear tennis shoes.
Yeah, no. And there were days like if we had a game and we were in a sport, we could wear our little shirt or whatever. But they could wear it whenever they wanted. And I just couldn't believe like the hoodies and the sweatshirts. I was like, what has happened?
That is
the integrity of this building.
Come on now. I guess they can't be too picky since it's failing. That just
There's
reminded
like 3
me.
kids in the whole school.
I mean, beggars can't be choosers. I was just thinking of when we were in tennis and we got those one shirts that we're like, we're not going to wear them at school or whatever, but let's get them anyway.
Yeah.
And it said, even when we lose, we still make love.
Like LUV, like tennis. Yeah. We weren't allowed to wear them at school.
No.
I think we wore them once and we got in trouble.
Somebody else got caught
wearing them.
Yeah, to a school thing. And they're like, are you kidding me? And then we all were like, somebody was like, do not wear those to school. We got in
I
trouble.
still have mine.
I think I might have just recently got rid of it, or I kept it because I thought it was so funny.
Even when we lose, we still make love. How we got away with that?
I know, and that we got to actually make the shirts alone. It's crazy.
So funny.
Another thing we had to do was go to mass once a week.
Literally, and then right now we're like around Easter time, and then it was even like tripled up during the holidays.
I know, it's like we're just never in class. I know, we're just always at mass.
And then remember, so we had the church was right across the street. But then sometimes we would have church in the gym, which was in our school. It was like built into the school. So it was like, I think if it was like a bigger event, they would put it in the gym because they would have a bunch of seats on the floor and then they'd pull out the bleachers.
I remember that, yeah.
But yeah, it was like, oh, church in the gym, mass in the gym.
It's going to be so much warmer and comfortable.
We don't have to walk across the street.
You're so inconvenient.
It's literally like 10 paces.
Literally. But yeah, we did that all through like first grade to senior year. We always had to go to mass, and then we do confession.
Yeah.
Like, was it once a year? I feel like we used to do it a lot more, and then it changed.
And when do you usually do it? Around Christmas time?
I don't remember.
Isn't that when you typically, like during, I think it's during, like around Christmas. I don't remember. But in high school, well, clearly neither of us go to confession anymore. We're like faithful, but we're not like
practicing Catholic as much. I don't know.
I think we're just not like as, I don't know. I don't want to say like, I don't know how to even word it. We're just not as like traditional, I guess. There we go. Is what you would say. But anyway, remember they would have like 5 priests that would come in to do confession.
In like the 5 different corners.
Yeah, and you would always want to get the one older priest because he was so kind.
I know.
But when I think back, like this is part of the reason why I don't go to confession now. Which, not to get fully into this, but we're already here, so. But it's like, what do I have to confess? I mean, not to say that I don't, like, make mistakes or do things that I regret or whatever, but even as a high schooler or elementary kid, like, what was I doing that was so horrible?
I know. I just remember always saying, like, in grade school, like, I don't listen to my mom.
Right, or I told a lie.
Well, you should.
Or even, like, remember you would literally be like, well, what are you going to say?
Yeah.
What are you like, you would, like, ask your friends.
It was, like, this nerve-wracking thing. Because it's, like, you didn't know because it was, like, the priest, like, you don't want to do something wrong. Like, I don't know what it was. It was like, and it didn't matter. They didn't really know you, so it didn't even really matter what you said. But I remember, I was just thinking about this. In grade school, there would always be a teacher that would, like, stand in the doorway with you, so you were never fully alone with the priest. Do you remember that?
Interesting.
I know. I just find that interesting that was, what, 20 years ago?
And if it was our first priest, ridiculous.
Yes.
He was a literal angel.
I know. He's the reason that I have, like, faith in priests.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
when people, because obviously there's a lot of controversies.
Right.
But when I think of him, I'm like, no, he was a good man. And if I ever found out anything like that ever happened, I would be crushed.
That would literally, I think that would make me turn away from everything if I found. Yeah, he was so.
No one compares.
No, he really was. And honestly, like I don't remember when he left our school or our
I feel
church.
like because they had to switch him around after a certain amount of years.
And he was at our church for way longer than he was supposed to. But I don't know. Were we like 3rd, 4th grade, or was it younger than that?
I don't remember.
Somewhere around there, I feel.
They could literally never replace him.
No,
like, we went through.
That's what I was going to say. After they made him leave, like, I don't think our parish and our school is ever the same.
No. Like, no, and I feel like we had like a new one every year. Like, it just wasn't working out.
And our elementary school is no longer. It doesn't exist.
Running.
I mean, it's still standing, but it's not like a school anymore. Yeah. But I really feel like if, they would have kept him or at least found someone who was more on his caliber or like him, then it could have kept the school going because...
I agree. I feel like him and then that one principal that we had too, like when both of them were gone, it was like,
just...
No.
Yeah, it wasn't the same.
Do you remember the priest we had in high school where he had like...
He wore sandals like Jesus?
Because he went on some kind random mission trip, wasn't it? And then he'd take them off and he'd walk around the room with like his toes like going up. It was like the way he walked. It was like heel down, then toes down.
Yeah, I didn't dislike him.
Yeah, he was kind of funny actually.
Yeah, he was kind of a chill priest.
He was. And did he ride a motorcycle? Right?
I don't remember.
I thought he rode a motorcycle.
I wonder whatever happened to him. He's probably retired now. Actually, I have no idea.
Me either. He was,
he would. I remember. So I think we were freshmen. He taught our freshman religion.
We did Old Testament first semester,
and then New Testament. And we would go through, and we were on block scheduling, so we would have like 4 classes a day, and then the next day we would have our other 4 classes. But so that's like an hour and a half in each of our classes. So we would like get through our religion stuff, and then I remember like the majority of the time having like a solid like 45 minutes left, and it would just be like free for all. And then if we were getting too loud, he'd be like, settle down, or that's enough, or hey, and then we'd all like get quiet, and then he'd be like, be quiet, and then we would like tone it down.
It was such a nonsense class. It was like I don't even know if we had like exam. Oh no, we did, but we got to use our Bible. It was like open Bible.
And our Bible, when I like think back on it, like how I disrespected that Bible.
I know that thing. Like I honestly feel bad about it.
Me too.
But they gave us the thinnest cover ever. I mean, nobody had their cover on by the end of the.
And I know it was hard because you'd put them in your locker with your other books.
Yeah, and it was a weird shape. It was so thick.
Yeah, it was, and then you would have like stickies out of it, and you'd like different tabs, and then highlighter everywhere, and then someone would take your Bible and write a bunch of stuff in it, and then you're like, oh my god, now this is embarrassing, my Bible is trash. I think I don't know if I still have it, but it was at my dad's house for a while, and I remember my dad like saw it and he was livid.
How could you do this?
I was embarrassed.
I know. It's like I didn't want it to look like that, but it did. What other religion classes do we have?
We had it every year. Morality was that our senior year? Or no, I think that was our junior year. And then the world religions class, I think that was our senior year. And I don't remember our sophomore or some other.
What's the one that, I won't say her last name, but it was like a little more outside of the box. So we would watch movies.
Are you talking about Miss F?
Yes.
I think that was that world religion.
Is that what that one was? Wasn't it like split up? Like there was.
Well, it must have been first semester, second semester.
Yeah, I feel like there was 2 different. And I remember that one was semi-interesting. Like it was more outside of the box, which was.
That's what I feel
fun.
And that teacher could be a little unhinged at times. But I think we really did have some good conversations in that class. And learning about like the different religions around the world, I thought was actually very progressive. And when I hear, I guess like part of the reason why I don't have this like trauma or this horrible thought surrounding like Catholic school and Catholic church and stuff is because of the experience that we had. Like,
no, I agree.
So many of the horrible stories that I hear about Catholic school, I'm like, that literally was not our school.
I know. Whenever I say, I went to Catholic school, you could just see the look in their face. And I'm like, I really didn't mind it.
Yeah. I thought that learning about the different religions was like amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know a lot of other schools that don't talk about that or don't even make it seem like there's anything else out there. And like I never ever felt like pressured into doing certain things or feeling certain ways or ashamed about certain things I did. Like no one at that school, including the priests that we had, ever made me feel that way.
No.
So I think we were very like fortunate in that sense.
No, I agree. I definitely agree with all that.
But things that I've heard about it now, because one of our teachers that, well, I'm sure there's a few teachers that are, actually I know there's a few teachers that are still there, but one teacher who is also our coach, like I'm still in communication with her, and she is about ready to retire from teaching over there, but she said that some things have changed, and it seems like that was very disheartening to me. It seems like some things have gone more closed-minded, but a lot of the like administration has changed there. And like, even, I mean, we had at least one classmate who was openly gay.
Right.
And there was nothing, like no one. No. Like, I'm sure that some students said stuff behind his back, but like no staff like told him anything.
No.
To my knowledge.
No, there was never, and I mean, we've had pregnant people there, and I don't remember anything. Like, no.
Which I appreciate that.
Yes.
Because I don't feel like that's what any religion is supposed to be, like shaming people or like discriminating.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the only priest I really remember is our first one that we talked about that wore sandals like Jesus. But I don't even remember our other priests, honestly. No, like I can't even.
Just the standout ones. But I really feel like for a while there, it was just a new one like every year. I honestly can't remember. I don't remember liking them like at first.
I know.
We didn't have any nuns though. No. Like for teachers, like we just had regular teachers.
There used to be, but then just with the times that changed.
I know. I remember for like confirmation, we had like the nun that oversaw everything.
Oh yeah.
She wasn't very nice. I don't remember that much about her. I just remember she was kind of like her.
But
strict.
This was the thing. So many with like any Catholic school, it's very much like, oh, I knew your mom or I knew your sister, because it's like generational, right? And in the family. So that nun knew, well, at that point she was retired, but like she knew like my mom and my grandma, she didn't like teach my grandma, but she just knew of her. So she was always nice to me because she knew my family.
I just remember her being just like strict.
She was very strict.
What was her name? I was like, sister. Oops, we'll blur that out. Or wasn't it Justine too? Or was that a helper? I feel like there's like a J named person.
I don't know.
Anywho. Another thing we did was called Kairos.
This
It's a triggering topic.
It is.
But it is interesting to talk about. So you basically went on a retreat. How long was it? Like 2 days?
I thought it was like 3 days, 2 nights.
Well, it was kind of like being in
felt like an eternity.
Yeah, and it was like being in a reality show. Like they starve you, sleep deprive you.
They should have filmed it, honestly.
I know, and they try to make you super emotional. I get like the point of it is like
they just wanted to break you down.
Yeah, and they wanted you to get to know each other in a different level. Like everybody goes through stuff, blah 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 blah. But I didn't know. I felt like it was kind of like a pity party.
I did too. It was first seniors, and then a couple juniors got to go because then they became the leaders the chosen, which I don't even know. Did you have to like apply? Like I literally don't remember.
Or did they ask you? And if you said yes, then...
yeah, we weren't asked. So, but it was also split up. Like all the girls went on one, and all the boys went on another.
Oh yeah,
and we were in completely different like cities or towns.
I know. We were like where were we? Like at a nun?
Yeah, a convent or something. Yeah. And like they fed us and everything. And we had little roommates that we didn't choose, and my roommate hated me.
I remember that.
For literally no reason at all.
Almost openly said it too. Yeah. It's like, man, everybody else could be with someone they're friends with.
And I remember
stuck with you.
We were in these little twin beds, and it was just like a very simple room because
you had to share the bed too.
No, we had 2 separate beds.
Oh, I had to share a bed.
I didn't. Thank God. We had 2 twins on opposite sides of the room. But it was like, I remember I tried to be kind and like make small talk.
She
and
was
she
weird.
did not.
She had nothing to do with it.
It was so weird because
And she was in my... Because then you'd have to split off into groups even then. So you'd get a Kairos group and she was in my group.
She didn't like a lot of girls.
No, she was not a girl's girl.
I guess she just never liked me. I literally never did anything.
Weird. And the way she was so like open about it.
Yeah,
was weird.
That still was like, it was very uncomfortable.
It was. But yeah, okay, so then you have to like share this room with somebody, like a friggin' roommate. And then you'd have to just get like, talk about all the hardships of your life, which was bizarre.
You would wake up at like freaking 6 in the morning, breakfast at like 7 or something ridiculous, and then you would be doing things all day long.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't go to bed until like midnight. Literally. Like, I don't know, that might be an exaggeration.
No, I feel like
it was
so late. Like that you were not sleeping on this. You were not napping. And I just remember being so tired.
They wanted it that way. They wanted to break us down.
My stepsister, I remember she was like, yeah, nobody wears makeup. You know, you're just going to be like so, you know, vulnerable and everything. And I was like, okay.
I mean, I don't think I did. Honestly, I don't remember.
You know, it just seemed
we
weird.
didn't have any mirrors, though.
No,
so.
It was like, I think you had like a sink in your room. I don't even remember the bathroom
Me either, I was about to say.
I feel like there was a sink because I remember like washing my face.
Well, we definitely took showers because we were there for like a long weekend, but I don't remember what the bathrooms were like at all.
I know. And then you had to come home, and then you had all your parents were there. Oh, and in the meantime, people are sending you all these letters.
So basically, it was like something that was created like throughout the year. Like something was secretly sent home to parents that like we never saw or knew about.
No, like somehow we did not know about this.
Yeah, like I remember I got a note. Which actually, those were like very nice, I thought, to get them from people. But I got them from one of our classmates' moms.
You did?
Yeah. Which, when I tell you who it was, it's not that weird. But it was like somebody, we were actually baptized on the same day.
Oh, okay.
And we went to our grade school with him.
Oh, I think I know you're talking.
Yeah. We're still like not wanting to say names.
CC?
No, MS.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Never mind. I forgot about him.
But yeah, so I got one from her, and that was like nice that she took the time to write that. And then I don't even remember one from my dad. Obviously, they had to write one, and then maybe a teacher. Like I don't remember.
I know. I can't remember. I know like my mom, my dad, and my stepsister did. I don't remember if there was anybody else.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But anyway, they would give those to you at like a time where you were alone.
Yeah.
And you could open them and read them, and then...
Yeah. I remember there was some other alone time too, because remember we like had this epiphany together or something?
Yeah, we went up for a walk.
Yeah, because you could walk the grounds, which were really cool.
It was nice. That's where Hannah and I were like, we only have each other.
Yes.
Which it's so true, because look at us now, we're here.
Like 12 years later.
But it was such a beautiful day, I remember. It was like a gorgeous day. It was nice out. We went for this long walk, and we're just like...
So I guess there was like, I know, there was like a spiritual moment.
Yeah, that was the like best moment, I think, coming out of that. Like, but... like you said before, it turned into like a pity party, which I don't think is the intention of it.
No, I think, and that could have just been the way our class handled it.
I don't know.
So, yeah, that was interesting.
It was like one girl would go up and say, my parents are getting a divorce.
Sucks.
And then the next girl will go up and say, I have an eating disorder. And then the next girl will go up and say, I have an eating disorder. My parents are getting divorced and they beat me and I am an alcoholic. And it was just like, not to like,
it was like
make light of anything. But it literally was like, I know you.
Yeah.
I literally know you. I've known you for like 12 years, you do not have an eating disorder and a drinking problem. Like, I know your family.
I know. It
this
was
is
kind
not...
of like Demi Lovato, where it was like, oh, so you had a drug problem, drinking problem, cut yourself.
Yeah.
Or self-harmed. And had an eating disorder. And it just kind of got a bit like,
come on.
I don't know.
And then everyone's just sobbing.
I know.
But at that point, like, you're crying because you're exhausted. You're mentally and emotionally and physically drained. Like, you're just crying because you can't even control yourself. I will say the one thing that was powerful and positive from Kairos was the fact that teachers were with us, and teachers went up and shared things about themselves. And that was like, it just at that age, like, a lot of times you don't even think of teachers as real people.
No, they just live at the school.
Yeah,
and come
and
out
you're
of their
also just
cave.
like, wow, like, they go through tough times too.
I know. I do remember thinking it was like, it was kind of a joke. But it was like, we thought this one teacher hated her life, and we'd always be like, gosh, she hates her life because she literally hates her life.
Our science teacher.
Yes, and turns out she did, and we like felt bad. We're like,
I
oh
cried
my gosh.
during that.
Yeah,
I like went up and gave her a hug, and I'm like,
she did hate her life.
Like, I've said so many horrible things behind your back.
We thought you hated your life, and you did.
Yeah,
because she, had depression and stuff. So it's like we did feel bad, and it did open our eyes to something like that. And I was like, okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It was like weird too, because you almost felt like compelled, like, oh, I have to share something.
I know.
Like, if you didn't, it was like, well, what's wong with you?
Right.
Or like, why don't you want to share? Like, it was just...
I even remember somebody making that comment to me, like, well, she doesn't want to share something. It's like, I just don't get the point of it. Like, what's the point of me saying it? It doesn't change anything.
I remember I went up, but I have no idea what I even said when we were like with all the girls. I have no idea what I said. Like,
it's all a blur. We kind of blacked it out a little bit too.
But then what was different about ours was that, like, when we all came back, we were like, we want to be with the boys. Like, we want to have this united Kairos.
Right.
So they gave us a whole day off school.
They did. I remember that.
And everyone else was during, like, having school, but we were, like, up in our little one narthex area, and we had our own mini Kairos. And that's where we, like, there were a lot of things that came out that were so... It changed the way you looked at some of your classmates.
It did. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I forgot about that. We like all got together and got to basically, and it was only if you wanted to share, like not everybody had to share, but a lot of people did. And it was, it was nice to hear from the boys too.
Mm-hmm. But I will say, because Kairos happens at the beginning of the year, doesn't it? And then... Because it's still nice out. It's like in the fall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is speaking from our experience. It's like,
disintegrated
a couple months go by. Everyone's like, kumbaya, we're one big family.
We're all gonna sit at
this
the
is
same
amazing.
lunch table.
And then right around like Christmas break,
it all went downhill.
There,
and
things
it was like
went
a waste of
downhill,
time.
and everyone hated us. And
we don't have to get into that.
But Kairos
how quickly things change.
Yeah, that was just kind of like the reality of it, though, is that they tried to make it so like, oh, this is such a great, experience, and then it was like disintegrated.
Yes. I remember some of like the weird like Catholic field trips. Catholic school field trips.
The retreats.
Oh yeah. And we would do retreats every year.
Yeah.
Was this
at the really creepy shrine?
Yes. Was that in the... I feel like that was 7th and 8th grade.
Well, we did them every year in high school, though, too.
Well, we went to that one creepy place with the haunted, like, in the basement. Relics. And then remember the freaking pictures
with
where
the
it was,
blurred
like, haunted?
Faces. Yeah.
Like, when I'm telling you, like, exorcism.
It was legitimately.
This is scary,
why
spooky
you know
thing.
That movies are based off of the Catholic religion.
I tell you what, I remember me and you, it was like nobody else was bothered. I'm like, this is weird.
And the thing, it was in this basement of this like church and this shrine, and people who had miracles happen.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah, and so they were like, I don't necessarily believe that like the relics that they say are from saints are actually from saints, because how can you possibly know that? But they would have those things, but then also like, oh, I came here when I couldn't walk, and then the next day I could walk. Here are my crutches, or here are my like, literal like bandages.
Like a cast like in this like sealed up thing. Yeah, I just remember, but
and wheelchairs. Remember, there were like old, like wooden wheelchairs.
Just like the creepiest.
Yeah, it honestly was scary. It was unnerving. I remember going down there and feeling creeped out.
Yes, and those pictures on the wall. I mean, it was horrifying, and I'm like, this
when can we leave?
Like, I'm over this. And then we would do like some kind of like retreat every year too, but I feel like there was other field trips. Do you remember any of the other ones
in high school or in grade school?
Any of them, because I know we had like several that had to do with just like Catholic school. I can't remember them.
I don't really remember. I just remember like our retreats, and then there was this stuff like when we were going through confirmation, we had to do that whole big thing, but I don't remember like other
field trips,
more random field trips that were Catholic based.
Oh, but that one was a doozy, man.
Yeah, that was. I don't even know where that was, honestly.
Me either.
There are a lot of other things that we could talk about.
Maybe we'll do another episode of just like funny school stuff.
Or if anybody has any like follow-up questions or topics that you'd like us to discuss surrounding this, you can let us know. We'd love to have some feedback.
We would.
Oh, before we forget, our book club.
Yes, we wanted to bring this up. We are doing Josh Peck's book.
Yes.
And I think it's called Happy People Annoy Me.
We should probably know.
It's Josh Peck's book, I think.
Yeah. And we are going to be reading that this month, so please read along with us.
If you want.
Yeah. I mean, we're not... Yeah, happy people are annoying. And then we will discuss that probably towards the end of the month, so the end of April. So yeah, that'll be a fun discussion, and if anyone has read that, we'd love to know your thoughts too.
Yes.
For our recommendations this week, I recently took a trip to IKEA, so I'm just recommending IKEA. I haven't been there in a long time. There's not one that's necessarily like that close to where we live.
I know. I feel like they're like this secret little,
they're in random places.
Yes.
But I forgot, like when I moved down to college, and I went to college in a bigger city, so like there was an IKEA near there, but on our way down we bought furniture, so that was like cool. And then when I moved to San Francisco, I went and bought stuff from IKEA to furnish the apartment too. But anyway, I forgot how cool it is to walk through.
I don't think I've ever actually been in an IKEA.
Oh my God. Okay. So let me describe it really quick for you. The like upper level is all like staged rooms and stuff. Ooh. So you see how things could be, and then like they have, couches and beds that you can like lay on to see if you like it, or chairs, tables, whatever. It's all just like a showroom. But I personally love the like staged rooms because it just gives you inspiration, and they're like small little. Like, you can walk in it, but it wouldn't ever be the size of an actual room you would have in your house unless you're in, like, a small apartment. Mm-hmm. But it kind of shows you, like, wow, look what they did with this small space. And you can literally go in and walk in and sit down at the table as if it's your kitchen. But it just gives you – and they have it fully decorated, like, literally pots everywhere. Or if it's a bedroom, they have, like, a fake little laptop and like, everything.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we should go there when I move to my country house.
Yeah.
We should go there.
Yeah. The only downfall, I went by myself, and I was feeling proud of myself because I'm like, I am a strong, independent woman, because you have to go down and then like you pick out whatever furniture you want, but then you go downstairs, which is where they have the warehouse, and then also like any other household things like pillows and sheets and whatever that you put in your cart. Well, then once you go to the warehouse, you have to write down the bin numbers of the bed that you got, and you have to go and get it yourself and then put it on your cart and bring it out. So it can be kind of a labor-intensive experience if you're getting a lot of furniture. But the way they kind of can keep costs down is that you do it yourself instead of having someone else. But anyway, I'm just recommending IKEA. Their furniture and stuff is good for not a huge price, but then also for like house inspiration.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, we'll definitely have to go.
Yeah, it would be a fun trip.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna recommend. I watched A Haunting of Hill House on Netflix when it came out or whatever. And I actually just recently listened to the book.
Oh,
and I really liked it. It was good, and it weirdly, like the Netflix version, kind of did follow the story, even though it was like different. And I just really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna recommend that book. It wasn't like horrifying or anything, but it was good. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. I forgot that it was based on a book.
Yeah, I really liked it. She also, that Shirley Jackson, she did We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and that one's like popular, but I didn't really care for that one much, but I really liked this one. So
nice.
Yeah, I recommend that one. I also recommend the show. The show was really...
The show is good.
I mean, I did like the show more, but the book was really good.
But it's one of those situations, what if you had read the book first?
I know. How would I have felt? I mean, the show was perfection, but I still might have, I don't know,
felt a little different.
Book. Yeah. But
all right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow us, listen to us anywhere you listen to your podcasts, and give us a nice review. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Bye.